Hi, 7th and 6th graders today. I don't know if you guys know this, but you guys are actually doing this project together. So this is my first time ever teaching the same thing to both 6th and 7th grade, which is kind of cool because you two can, well, all of you can now like ask for support from kids that maybe aren't in your grades normally. So that's kind of cool. Cam is feeling essentially, especially lonely today, so that's why he's all up in that face. So we're just gonna let this happen for like a little bit longer, and then we're gonna shoot him away. So you guys have been seeing me post all of this stuff about statistics. We're starting a new project, and in the start of this project, I want to go over the vocabulary for you. I have created a Quizlet for you that has the vocab that I highly encourage you to go and check out. This only has the stuff that you're going to need for part one of the project. I am posting the entire project today when this is posted. Posting this video, I'm posting another video to show you how to do part one. Later this week, I'll post videos about showing you how to do part two. So I'm providing tons of resources. I have been getting lots of questions about this. I don't want you to freak out. Information is going to come out to you when you need it. You just don't need it. Well, you need it now, but you didn't need it 3 days ago and you're sending me emails. So now you get all the information you need. And of course, if I'm missing something or if you're confused or missing something, email me, let me know, and I want to try to answer it for you because I think this project's going to be kind of fun. So to prevent this video from being an hour long, because you know I can talk for an hour, this one is only going to be focused on the vocab. And then I'm going to make another one in about 10 minutes where it's going to be focused on a little bit more about what you're going to do in part one. Did you just lick the board? You licked the board. Don't lick the board. You licked my Q4. That wasn't nice. You gotta get out of here. You licked the board. Okay, so with statistics, the reason that we have statistics, and you've heard it before, you've heard the stats on stuff before, right? It's because we like to analyze information. When we get data, information in, we want to figure out what that information means. What is that data telling us? So when it comes to like statistics about like our favorite sports player, right? We can tell you this sports player is better than the other by analyzing the statistics, by looking at the data, look at the numbers that they give us. We then say, oh, well, he averages this, or he has more of these than that guy, whatever. So it's important for that, but it's also important for tons of things. Politics, you know, when it comes to voting or what like political opinions or ideas are important. It comes important when like you're making money or like companies and how companies make decisions. So it's really, really important in a lot of everyday stuff. So it's a good idea for you to know how this works because regardless of where you end up in life, you're probably going to need to know some of this information. So with statistics, there's two main things that we're going to be focusing on. There's measures of center and there's a 5-number summary. Let's start with the measures of center. Now, you may have heard of some of these words before, but again, because I'm talking to both 6th and 7th grade right now, I need to work on the basis that you guys know nothing, even though I'm sure you guys have heard this before. But I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page and I'm not leaving anybody behind. So this may be a little bit redundant, but it's going to be a good refresher, especially for this. So the measures of center. Mean, median, mode, range. So we got those 3 M's there that can get kind of confusing, and then range at the end. So let's start with mean. Mean means the average. It means the average. So average. Average is when you add up all the data points that you've collected and then divide by the number of data you collected. So it would look like something like, I don't know, I would do like X plus Y plus Z over 3. That's how you would find the average. Okay. Next one is median. Median means middle. Median is the middle. And I'm sure you've probably remember, you put all the data out in a line and then you like click, 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 and take it to the center number. That's the median. So the median is the center of our data. It's the middle number. So you might have a lot of like numbers and you would go click, 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 click until you find the middle number. Okay. The mode. Mode means most. Most. It's the number that comes up the most. So if like I'm gathering temperatures from this winter, right? And I go like, okay, from December 1st to December 30th, the temperature was 20, 15, 12, 20, 5, 6, -2, 15, 20, 24, 20, 18, 2, 10, -4, 20. Right away, I know what the mode is. The mode is the number that I fed the most. I fed 20 a lot. So that would be the mode. That was the number that came up the most. Okay? And then finally, the range. The range is the difference between the biggest number and the smallest number. Okay, so I'm going to write difference. I'm just writing these one word things to hopefully help you remember. So mean is average, median is middle, mode is most, range is difference. Okay, and you find the range by taking the max and subtracting the min. That is the range. Okay, now why are these measures of center? Why do they have the word measure of center? Well, because all of them kind of help us figure out what the center of the data is. When you collect data like all those temperatures that I may have said, then people say, well, okay, well, what does that tell us about the temperature in December in Vermont? Well, if you want to know the average, I can add them up all up and then divide by the number of days that there are. And I can tell you the average. But if I get one really low number or if I get negative numbers, what happens when I get a negative number? And then I divide? That changes things really, really quickly, right? And then if you also think like, if I get all negatives and a few positives, and maybe when all said and done, the average just comes out as a number that really doesn't represent what was going on. So sometimes that's not the best representation of the center of the data. If I get one number that's way out there, that's going to throw off the average. Median is when I line all the numbers up and I tick it off until I find the middle. So a lot of people think like, well, if you want the true center, you want the median. But again, if all of the data is all in this one area and you had like 2 or 3 numbers that were kind of low, it can skew the data. And that's a word you might hear, skew. It means throw off the data a little bit. So median is also susceptible to what we call bias. Mode is the number that comes up the most. Just like with my example from earlier with just all the temperatures I gave you in December, I said 20 a lot, so that tells you, okay, the mode 20, but all the other numbers were kind of lower. So you're like, well, it's not a good representation of the center of the data. It came up a lot, yeah, but there's no numbers bigger than 20. So just because it came up a lot doesn't mean that that necessarily is the center of all this data. And then finally, the range, it gives you a good idea of where the data is ranging from and like how spread out the data is. It's not always the best identifier of what the true middle is, but it's a good idea to give you like a general idea about what the data, like what the range is. If the range is really, really big, that tells me that it's going to be kind of hard to find one number that represents all of it. But if the range is pretty small, then I can say, oh, well, this data is really small and concise. And if I was to pick a number within that range to kind of tell you how like an average or measure of center here, it would be a little bit of a better representation. So those are your measures of center. Let's talk about 5-number summary. To do that, I'm going to lower this a little bit because there's a word down there that you can't see, and that's quartiles. Oh, now you can't see my face. Ready? Sitting down. Right. Okay, so that's quartiles. So 5-number summary is all about median. So it's all about finding the middle. So you'll see here, median, this is middle. It's the only one that didn't have one of these Q abbreviations. A 5-number summary tells you the smallest number, the minimum. That is also known as Q1. It then tells you the lower quartile, known as Q2, the median, the upper quartile, Q3, and then the maximum, Q4. And what that all means is, I'm going to take all my data, which the next video is going to show you how to do this. I take all of my data, spread it all out. Okay, I already, from looking at it, if I put it in order from smallest to largest, I already know the minimum and the maximum. Okay, because that's the order that I put the data in, the minimum and the maximum. Then I went to find the middle one. That's my median. That's gonna be my number here. To find Q2 and Q3, let's say I take these numbers, and I found this middle one here. Okay, my middle one, and then my minimum is way back here. I'm still at the middle number, the median. And now I'm over here at the minimum. To find Q2, the lower quartile, I have to then click in this direction. So I'm finding the median, the middle, after I've already found the middle. So I'm finding the middle of the lower numbers. That's why it's called the lower quartile. Notice that quartile has Q in it, like quarter, right? Because you're breaking into 4 parts. Okay, so you have the minimum and the median, and you find that number, that is your lower quartile. To find the upper quartile, Q3, median, so you go back to median again, you're at the largest number, the maximum, and you check off until you get into the upper quartile, Q3. Okay, so that's the upper quartile. After you find those, you might be able to make a graph called the box and whiskers graph. The reason I tell you about this, I'm not going to make you make one. I just want you to be aware what it is. You'll see these on SBAT and Star 360 all the time, and I want you to be aware of what they are. So the box and whiskers plot, minimum, lower quartile, Q2, the median, the upper quartile, Q3, the maximum. So it makes a box, and then these are supposed to be the whiskers. I don't know why they call them whiskers. They just do. I think it looks nothing like whiskers, but they didn't ask me when they chose to name it. So these are the different quartiles. Quartiles is another word that we'll be working on. So all of these vocab words is going to be really, really helpful for you. Back up, back up. All these vocab words are helpful for you for part 1 of this project. I'm going to stop this video now before it gets too long. And when I make my next video, we'll talk about how I'm going to use this stuff to start analyzing data. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you tune in to watch the next video. I'm beginning to feel like a YouTuber with my little spiel, like hit the like button. Please don't. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.